Thunking, the thinking thunk.
God, why are you guys so quiet all the time?
Is that better?
That is
Blame it
way
on
better.
us.
I'm not doing that the whole thing.
The Villains Talk Show.
No, it's not.
Then what is it?
I don't.
The
We
Heroes
don't know what it is
Podcast,
anymore.
obviously.
We're the people that talk about things and with
The
stuff.
Heroes Podcast, obviously.
There's
But it's
actually a
spelled
podcast.
G-Y.
P-Y? The
No,
Fearos?
G-Y.
The Fearos podcast.
The fire.
No, Gyros.
We will be the Phoebus podcast.
The Phoebus podcast. Hello and welcome to the Phoebus podcast.
Phoebus experience.
It actually rolls off the tongue quite well. Am I quiet? Oh, that's probably why.
Yeah.
Hello. Is that
You're
better?
pretty quiet. No.
Am I better? Thank you, people watching, for telling me that I'm quiet. Hello.
Ah, yes, people.
And welcome to the Villains Talk Show and Podcast. I am one of your esteemed hosts, C4, accompanied with a full accoutrement, as opposed to last
Wonderful
week,
people.
which was just me. In this case,
You can leave if you want to do it all by yourself.
I have quadrupled myself.
We are the ones.
Do you want us just to leave so you can continue this theme?
No, that was so bad.
The ranting of C4.
Are you sure?
It was so bad.
It was pretty entertaining.
I utterly disagree, to be honest. It was not fun for me.
Great to watch.
We all need a moment to kind of
But
rant.
I am here with Greasy Boy, Insanieac, and the Elusive Gentleman. Holy shit, there's a name I haven't said in a while.
We are here.
Yeah, Insanieac's never here.
We are the people.
It's true. We are here. And it's... Oh, hello, Hello, Rushala. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see everyone. Just quick shout out to our Patreon and all our followers. For the wheel and everyone who follows us. The podcast, if you're listening at home on the podcast, thank you for listening. And yes, today, do we just dive right into this, or do we do? I mean, I haven't had people around, so I mean,
we get so crushed by it. Is what we do. That's the topic of today.
What? Into the mic?
That makes sense. I get
pressure. The pressure. The topic's pressure. We get slowly crushed by it every day. My goodness.
You are
My
always.
goodness.
Are you always under it, Insaniac?
I like to think I'm over it some days, but that depends.
Overpressured? Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I'm more of. Sorry, I'm a Five Finger Death Punch fan. I was thinking under and over it. Music. That's okay.
So that's fine. I was thinking Vanilla Ice.
I guess we both had different ideas, but geography.
You just have to remember that the surface pressure doesn't really matter.
Oh my lord, Rujala, you're getting your first tattoo ever on Friday. What is it?
Virgin skin.
Those are always fun. I got my first at 30, and then I got my second at 30.
I think I got my first at like 17.
I got my first at 18.
Nice. Good for you.
Many plan, but they're so expensive.
But back to pressure. Today's topic is pressure, the mind killer.
The pressure so much that it makes you get a tattoo.
Just pressure.
Usually, yeah.
Usually pressure makes you want to get a tattoo.
I have in the description, if you're watching on YouTube, pressure, that thing, I believe, I can't even remember what the hell. I went. No.
I can tell you in a second.
Nice.
Pretty addictive for a shot.
Oh, I got my first tattoo. Oh, you already did. Yay. No, we're talking about pressure. And Pressure can
Pressure
be
cookers. They cook
minute
food.
Today we address
To-
pressure and the collective nature.
to. Okay.
There you
One
go.
of my favorite
That's all you have.
philosophers, who I bring up quite a bit on the show, is Foucault, French philosopher. Highly suggest you go read Foucault. But the reason the reason he's contentious is because he's not technically a philosopher. He doesn't call himself one. But one thing that I've always found, at least when I first learned about him, especially when it comes to pressure, and the reason I'm bringing him up, is something that I have also described on the podcast, is the panopticon. And this is starting from the inward. So this is perceived pressure, is we'll call this. If I had a little like banner, it would go perceived pressure.
Is this a
Well, we
PowerPoint?
need a bunch of
PowerPoint.
whiteboards.
I wish I had a
C4?
PowerPoint, but
My
I just wanted
goodness.
to talk about this because this is the
Is
one
the
thing
business
that
meeting
most
of
people
pressure?
deal with on. This is the one thing people can relate with right away. Is when you walk outside and you're wearing mismatched socks, you either don't give a fuck or it
Shop.
nags on your mind. And I'm not saying that if you have like,
I
'cause
wear mismatched socks every day.
there are people who do have mental illness that does prevent that, but I'm not talking about that. I'm just taking them out of the conversation for now and just saying, for people who just go outside and feel that pressure, or the best is high school students. Everyone was in high school, when you go to high school and you actually spend time to think of what you want to wear, but in the end you just walk out in jeans and a sweater because that's what everyone else fucking does. That's internal pressure. That's not you're being told, or that's not.
I also just didn't care. That's why I wore jeans and a sweater.
But it's the same time. You understand what I'm
It
getting at.
came
Though.
from it came from the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pressure to do it, so I just didn't care.
But it's
right?
inner. It's inner, and that's where I guess we'll start, because that's the easiest one for people to understand. And
Read the same pair of jeans.
it's
On the
basically
real shirt.
it's basically an invisible eye that you believe is there watching you, even though in reality, and something that I've told many of my friends is to learn to just say fuck it, because it's one thing I think is lost on people. And I don't mean like it. Okay, I don't mean like, oh, just go do it because whatever. I mean fuck it in the tense that just why care? Why, like, and it's hard. Don't get me wrong. Don't like misunderstand what I'm trying to say, in that you like, it's easy just to just say fuck it and then live by that idea. But when you actually truly learn to just let something go that doesn't matter, or just fucking who cares, and just go out. This is why I've always been, and ever since I was a kid, I've always been in awe of people who wear drag. Because that is the exact fuck it I want you and everyone to ascertain, is the ability to just say, you know what, especially when I grew up in the 90s, to basically go out and just say, this is how I want to dress because this is how I feel comfortable, and be able to say fuck the world. That is what more people need, because I think more of that would.
I think that comes in the same thing from tattoos, and, getting piercings and things like that. Like
Yes.
I had for those who I haven't had my face camera in a bit, but I have an eyebrow piercing. I used to have a lot bigger of a stud back in the day, and I used to get all kinds of people giving me looks and things about my eyebrow piercing, and I it's kind of funny to a certain point, and it makes it seem so silly for one small thing for everyone to be like, oh, there's a person looking slightly different. Oh, this is weird, and then so it's odd, and it's strange to feel like that kind of that pressure, that social and you just be like, well, fuck, I don't really care. I'm just gonna kind of do what I want. So tattoos, piercings, all the way is whatever I want to do.
Dude, I wanted a tattoo since I was 18, and I because I succumbed I succumbed
So you were
to my
successful?
family, especially my parents telling me to like sit on it and just think about it, and if I still wanted it, like when I hit maybe 20, then I'd get it. And for some reason I just kept sitting, and I still wanted the same tattoo. Like it never changed since I was 16. And it took me till I was 30 to finally just get the tattoo I wanted. And on top of that, I didn't even get that first. I got a random tattoo on my body first because I wanted to break that. I just wanted to say screw it. I don't I this thing on my body has no meaning. It has only meaning to me, and I want it on my body,
Yeah,
and just
that's
for
so
the
great about tattoos.
just for the sheer
It can
fact
be anything.
I wanted to break out of that mental hold that I had on myself. And once it
Yeah.
was done, it was so easy to get my second tattoo, and there was the one that I wanted, and it looks great. I love it. And so
Yeah, I never understood like kind of like goofy tattoos, but at the same time, like I kind of get it for that same kind of mindset as like like just being able to get a tattoo because like it's your choice to do whatever you want, right? So it's like why not? Like I've heard of ridiculously strange tattoos, or like you hear of like people who get like there's eye tattoos and things like that, or like inside lip tattoos, or like all that weird stuff. I think we covered
Tattoos are
tattoos,
my
so
favorite thing to see people get.
and like it's I love tattoos. I have so many that I had planned. I think I have like 6 I'm working on like a sleeve myself, but they're just so expensive.
Rushala had been talking about getting her tattoo for over 30 years. I am so glad you got it. Same. It's that mental pressure that it comes from no one else but ourselves. It's so that's why I wanted to lead off with the ability of saying fuck it. It's hard. It really is. As people, as anyone on the podcast listening or anyone watching and reading along in the chat will understand, like I'm not a young Spriggan. Rajala looks younger than
Wait,
me.
you're not?
But
This is time
we've taken a long
made by
time
peer
to get over
pressure.
these
We love
humps
you
for no
all.
reason. No reason other than our own our own personal mental tribulations. I'm so glad you got 3. You beat me by 1. Now I need to catch up. um, but yeah, anyone? It's the rest of the group
Everyone out there is
I mean, if it
diamonds farm
helps,
recreational.
I
They're
didn't do
amazing.
drag because
because
I didn't do drag because I cared about what people thought. I did it because money was good with it.
Nice,
Like I got $100 per
very
show
nice,
for like 5 minutes
That's
very
fucking
nice,
dope.
plus
That's so
tips.
great. That is the greatest answer I've ever fucking heard.
very nice.
Fuck yeah, right? John's clapping.
I have
Very nice
always
indeed.
said, and I will never
Right.
disparage any human out there that can sell any part of their body for money. You beat me. I can't. You good for you. I am so impressed. Good for you. I am. Oh yes, you drink that. You drink that out of that coffee cup with pride. Good for you.
It's just tea.
Um.
Tea is amazing. I have my tea.
It
So
really
let's
is.
so
I
let's
got
move
a
on
druid
to
magic tea.
so let's move on to what is the easier pressure to ignore, but is the more prevalent pressure, which is outside pressure,
Peer pressure.
Pressure.
I was close.
peer pressure.
100% outside pressure.
That's the
too.
same thing, man.
No one
I was
listens
gonna
to
say, I was
peers
gonna say,
anymore.
I was
It's the
gonna
exact
say,
same thing.
They're just there
gravity
for
pressure.
votes.
It's technically peer
pressure from
pressure.
my junk.
Gravity's just weighing us down every day, turning us into diamonds slowly.
Oh yeah, we're talking about PSI. Sorry, I forgot.
I was talking about boat peers because they put on a lot of pressure as well.
But yeah, outside pressure, peer pressure, any kind of pressuring factors.
Oh,
I
it's
can
so
tell
funny.
you,
I think everyone threw
as
that in high
a
school.
as a God, I'm almost middle aged. Ugh.
As
Ugh.
a wee
Tell me
lad.
about it.
As an almost. That tasted good. Oh, nice piece of cake. Thank you for that. As an almost middle-aged man,
I would say you still got yeah, you guys still got a little bit.
dude,
Like,
the pressure to like, and like from everyone to either settle down or have a family or buy a motherfucking house or dude, I don't drive. I don't have a license. I don't. And
yeah,
the amount of people,
I didn't.
the amount of people that just can't believe that. Like it baffles them. And how many people keep telling me like, "Oh, it'd be easier if you had a car." And like it is hard. Like the amount of things that I need to like either get rides from people from or like it, especially if I want to leave the city. It does become a pain in my ass. And it's funny how much the pressure to get a goddamn license has I'm almost there. I'm almost getting my learners. I've been thinking about it, which is bad.
I didn't know you didn't have your learners.
I have an
I got that at 15, I think.
I have an ID card.
Because you could get it pretty early in Calgary.
I have an ID card.
Nice.
I got mine at 14.
Yeah, rub it in, guys. I didn't need
Nice.
it.
Without studying,
Screwdriving.
I just showed up one day. And I was like, I want to take the test, and I passed it without studying.
C4 laughs and gas prices.
First
that you don't
try.
pay. I mean,
But yeah, I mean, the elusive gentleman can speak to this too. Just the amount of pressure from people, just random people you don't even fucking know. Like you tell them, you're like, "Oh, so what do you do?" "Oh, I have a roommate and I live in an apartment." And they're like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" "I'm a cook." And they just look at you and they're like, "Oh, do you have any?" "Nope, single, no kids." And that's where that's when their eyes always go up when you say no kids. They're like, "Oh," and you're like, "Not married."
see, that's where I'm lucky because I can say I'm a chef. It suddenly changes the tone of that by just a little bit.
It's so true.
Slightly like it's not as bad.
It's so true because you're a chef. You sound so much better, but
it's like it's no difference. It's so funny. It's just, honestly like the little bit of difference I would say in a personal thing. I don't know how people in the way of like cooks is like how much you like drive into your food, I guess, as a cook and a chef, but I don't know. I understand that kind of like vibe for like trying to like have a family and do all that stuff, buy a house and like be part of the society in a sense.
do you though?
I didn't.
I mean, I don't remember the pressure. Like, I remember being in my mid 20s, and like there was no pressure.
Honestly, if anything, I'm
Like,
feeling financial pressure.
yeah, that's it. Like that was the same.
Yeah.
Like yeah, sure. Like you're maybe a bit of a financial squeeze, but like no pressure. There's no pressure to being told to like do this or maybe you should settle down or you should think about kids.
I definitely have people who tell me kind of some of
It
these
gets
things,
worse.
but I genuinely just don't listen to most of it anyways because I never have to begin with. This white noise. I find you have to study for tests. I pass schools.
I mean,
No problem. There's a lot of things that you should do that you don't have to do. that people tell you should do.
I mean, my
I'm
poor
saying don't study, you should study.
like my poor sisters, like they're very successful and they are in the same boat as me, and my God, like I feel bad for them. Like how bad it gets. People say, "Oh, you're single," or there. It's judgment, and it's bad. I feel really bad for
being single gets more of a judgment as you get older.
It's
and
not
as you,
even like
especially
it's
for
just
women.
I
as
think
well,
just
like,
women in general. I mean, Rujala, you can
Yeah.
help us out with this. But I think women in general just get like really harped on really hard about this.
Yeah, there's the expectation to be a parent. To be with somebody. Maybe a partner.
Yeah. See, like, yeah, there you go. You've been to like you, and you guys have like you've no reason to. Um, really? That's I don't know how to feel about that. That's well, you're still gorgeous.
I mean, there's nothing wrong.
Rujala just said that
All that out of
her and Bear have been together for over 12 years and don't have kids, and it confuses a lot of people. And I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised by that at all. And I bet you there's... Yeah. See? And that's... It's so... like, I can imagine that in that instance, in that, like, just being in that position, it must be so hard because you know that they're not doing it out of malice. Unless they are, then fuck them. Then I hope you kick them in the fucking balls. But if they're just like, they're not doing that out of malice, but at the same time,
I think I would probably smack anybody that got like that close to me to touch me in any kind of sense, or like any like that's a little personal spaces. Like
I mean,
should
it's
be
one thing to
respected,
do that to
like,
him.
smack somebody in the face.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Enhance yourself.
But this is exactly it though. Like the people don't like that's what I'm getting at is people don't understand the amount of pressure they put on others with just asking questions. Yeah. My mother is the fucking worst. I love her to death, but I can say this because I know for God sure she'll never fucking listen to this podcast. Because she will never ever have access to any of my social media. I don't ever on Facebook. I don't ever on Twitter. I don't ever on any of that crap. Because I love her to death, but goddamn, she is that kind of person who will she will say the wrong thing at the wrong time. Every time. Every time. And she means well. That's the worst part. Because she it's how she was raised. And so when she brings up the fact, I don't know, when she brings up the fact that someone's not pregnant to their face, she doesn't mean it bad. It's the same idea. It's
older generational thinking.
Like in that example, Rujala, I could see my mom not touch you, but maybe ask, like, if you thought about children in the future, and be just blunt about it. And it's not that she means bad; it's what she does. But what she doesn't understand, and what I'm trying to get at, is the pressure it puts on the person she asks, or which would be in this example be you. But I think I'm just trying to get at it so I could reflect it to everyone else, because like I'm not, and I guess I'm trying to bring it up because it's a two-way thing. Like I'm keenly aware of it, but that doesn't mean I don't do it, and I don't mean to, trust me. But like I have to catch myself sometimes, but I do it a lot and I hate it. But it's one of those things that it's a societal thing almost. Because I see it, and just it's become normal for people to ask certain questions that just, and then the worst part is I then watch commercials on YouTube about mental health and about how mental health is so bad, but people don't realize that like they're monumentally mounting more and more pressure onto each other. It's like we're forcing each other to need therapists more. I missed a lot of what she was. Someone else talk. I'm gonna read the chat.
Self-feeding system.
Meow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like the
Why?
the
Thank
elusive
you.
gentleman is being
Do
volunteered.
you, elusive gentleman? Do you want to introduce who's speaking for you?
Tell us more about this elusive meow cry in the darkness
Yes.
from a shadowy beast.
At first, I didn't know what the hell you guys were talking about.
Shadow.
In my lap, yeah.
She's talking more than you, man.
Yeah, she's just
she's volunteered you to speak.
She's an outdoor cat now, so she's much happier.
When did it
I
become
can imagine.
gay?
See, that brings pressure, right? Having outdoor pets. I remember one time you had like a rough moment with one of your neighbors.
My fucking neighbor with the cat trap. That shit was bullshit.
Yeah, I remember that day. That was really.
Rujala said
Really
people
shitty.
touch pregnant women like they're Buddha statues. My answer to that is when I had a shaved head when I was a kid, everyone rubbed my head and said it was like a lucky rabbit's foot. Even strangers I did not know. So
I've never had that one.
It's just
When I've
random
had a
people.
bald head.
Random people like to
I
touch
used to
people.
shave
It's
my head all
weird.
the time.
Super weird.
For
And
the longest time, I had a shaved head, and someone licked my head once.
What?
Rujala, next time someone asks Bear how many kids they have and not if he has any, his answer should be, "Oh, I ate 2 this morning and I got 1 in the freezer."
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta aim to confuse them.
Yeah, exactly.
No children, just cubs.
I've heard that before.
Are you
Actually,
telling me you left them at the supermarket?
I've heard women wear
Hasn't
wedding
been-
rings even though they're not married just to keep creeps away from them at bars.
that's
Yeah,
funny.
Yeah.
But then you get the real creeps who see the wedding band
just don't care.
And then they
just don't
come
care,
anyway.
Yeah.
That fucking guy.
Ugh.
Not like the dating scene's greasy at all.
No, not at all.
We have a whole episode about that. Isn't that right, Gracie Boy? Check out a previous episode
Since when?
about dating.
So good.
Which one?
Shameless plug is shameless.
Hashtag previous episodes.
But yeah,
Dylan,
I think if we were to tier kinds of outside pressure, I'd say, I mean, that's really hard because it depends on the person. But I'd say in the top tier you have family and friends.
I mean, tradition.
Depending
is
which
just,
one you value
peer
more.
pressure from dead people.
yeah, and then I'd say maybe society.
Yeah, it depends what. Yeah, exactly.
And laws are peer pressure from the government.
That's society.
Oh,
yeah.
do you want? Is that what you feel about laws?
Mm-hmm.
Most of them tend to be that way.
I would say above society would be religion and faith.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
that kind of pressure can be bad.
Finances.
Can be
Yeah.
disgustingly bad.
would you say that'd be like cultural in a sense?
Yeah, actually, that would be. And then finances would be somewhere in there too. Like we'll say tier 1 would be family and or friends, depending which one you do more. We'll say tier 2 would be like money and or culture. So like religion, or like we could even throw in your community if you're a small town. And then tier 3, we'll say like laws, I guess.
Society.
I'm only throwing that in there because that's what the gentleman said, but okay. It's pretty. I mean, I am as much of an anti-disestablishmentarianist as you are, but I need a bit more to grab on.
Cat pressure. Pressures of being a cat owner.
Of what?
Just think
Pressures
about
of being a
tradition.
cat owner.
Tradition's good peer pressure.
Pardon me?
Tradition
Yeah,
is a good
tradition.
example of pressure.
That's
That kind of
cultural.
fits under
Just
cultural.
That fits under
Yeah, that fits
cultural.
under
Yeah, but
culture.
I
but
mean,
it's
like,
also just peer pressure from dead people.
like
Yeah,
I can
that's
speak
cultural.
on
Like-
Judaism.
Like if somebody
If you want to
tells us
talk about
culture-
cultural pressure, Judaism. It's like the entire religion is based on cultural pressure.